All right, everybody. So look, we're not done with the Fort Knox situation. I got the full video, 5-minute video. We're gonna look into that. I'm gonna show you some things on, the bank barons and all that. We're gonna do a little history check on some of this stuff, how it ties in, and let's pull it together. But nevertheless, you know what we got to do? We got to head down what? Social media boulevard. Let's take this ride.
Your artery's fighting for that right now. Watch this. Get a pot with a liter of water going, toss in a handful of unpeeled garlic cloves. This thins your blood and lowers blood pressure. Right after that, 2 cinnamon sticks, they gonna flush out bad cholesterol. Don't forget that oregano, nature's antibiotic and antioxidant. This stuff what really stops the bloating and kills off parasites and bacteria hiding in your gut. Remember this remedy to protect your heart, cleans out your arteries, and resets your whole digestion. Give it a month, y'all arteries gonna feel completely different. Comment yes if you want more remedies like this. And follow your girl, I might be the fix you've been waiting on.
Close the doors.
What's going on? Elamine Unscripted, KV Media back in the building once again with another video. The quote that you're reading below is a quote from Margaret Sanger. The mass of ignorant Negroes still breed carelessly and disastrously, so that the increase among Negroes, even more than the increase among whites, is from that portion of the population least intelligent and fit and least able to rear their children properly. You know, Margaret Sanger was a eugenicist. Really, this is somebody that was implemented to really eradicate the black race. There have been recipients of her awards, but I want y'all to see something, and I'm gonna scroll through the recipients. I want you to see who some of the winners, some of the recipients have been over the course of history. So I'm just gonna scroll. We just scrolling, y'all. Kathleen Turner, that's the actress chick, I think. So let's scroll. Let's go. Phil Donahue, the TV show guy. Once again, keep in mind the mindset of Margaret Sanger. Let me see here. Would you look at that? The Reverend Martin Luther King. And I know some of you all won't like it, but I want you to just understand the burning house that Martin Luther King said he felt he brought his people into.
He said to me, I said, what's the matter, Martin? You seem very agitated. He said, well, I am. Because I've come upon a thought that I don't know how to deal with at this moment. I said, well, what is it? He said, we fought long for integration. It looks like we're going to get it. I think we get the laws. He says, but I'm afraid that I've come upon something I don't know quite what to do with. I'm afraid that we're integrating into a burning house.
He knew he was bringing his people into a burning house. The civil rights movement was the nail in the coffin for black people. Whether you want to believe that or not, do the history, do the reading. I'm gonna let y'all do with that what you will.
Check it out. Last video I was talking about disqualifying snitches. disclosing confidential informers, getting them cats off your case, suppressing all their statements and all their wiretaps and all that bullshit. I told you all the right rules in all that last video right there. So now we're gonna get to the big dogs. We're gonna break down the judge first, and then we're gonna break down the DA. So let's get to it. Y'all ready? The reason why I know this shit is because I done went against the judge and the DA on multiple occasions, on multiple different charges in state levels and federal levels, and all the way to goddamn pills and all types of shit I done did, man. I done been through it, y'all. But since I've been through the fire, it made me a black ass diamond. So peep this. Grounds for disqualification for some judges. Take some notes. You know, listen to the video over and over again. If something go over your head, if you miss something, you can like, you can share, you can follow. There are 5 grounds for disqualifications for a judge. I'm gonna bust it down to you because ain't nobody telling you. Bias or prejudice. Actual or appearance of bias or prejudice in the courtroom is a disqualification to the judge. Personal knowledge of disputed facts, disqualified. Financial or personal interest in the case, the judge is disqualified. Prior involvement as counsel or witness, the judge is disqualified. Violation of judicial conduct and canons, the judge will be disqualified. Violation of judicial conduct canons for judges are the rules that they live by. And that's how you got to break it down. You feel me? So let's get to it. Legal basis. Title 28 USC, Section 455. Break down judges in federal cases and disqualify their asses. North Carolina General Statutes, Title 15A-1223. Breaks down North Carolina judges and disqualify their ass in criminal trial. Due process clauses, Capleton versus A.T. Massey Coal Company, 556, United States, 868, 2009, breaks down judges for due process clauses. So let's check it out. Last video
that gave them permission to enslave us because we didn't believe in their whole made-up God. It is insane. Pope Nicholas V, fuck him, says, we grant you by these present documents with our apostolic authority, full and free permission to invade, search out, capture, and subjugate the Saracens and pagans and any other unbelievers and enemies of Christ, wherever they may be, as well as their kingdoms, duchies, counties, principalities, and other property, and to reduce their persons into perpetual servitude. She told me to read that one more time. I read it twice, mother. A man in Rome, wearing robes, sitting on a throne. This is mother. Sitting on the throne, wrote those words, stamped them with God's seal, and handed them to a king. Now, sidebar. Now you know how you became Christian. Now you know how you became a slave. And you still gonna get up and go to them people's church tomorrow. Them people, that God, the one you worship, gave them permission to do everything they did to us. Enslaved us for hundreds of years, raped us, all of us, men, women, and children, ate us, beat us, raped us, sold us for hundreds of years because that one motherfucker said. Pope Nicholas the fifth, 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth, said they could do it because it was the Pope that gave them.
I ain't got nothing yet on these. I ain't got nothing yet. So let's let them keep going.
You send your notice of name correction. Then you want to send a demand for a birth certificate annotation, right? You know, when you go order your birth certificate, you can request edits, right? So you're going to submit all this documentation, right, about your name correction, about that name denoting a legal fiction, and you're going to send that to the Department of Vital Records, right? And then you're going to record that interaction with the county recorder. So everything that you've done so far is on public record. And by common law rule, you can now introduce this into evidence. This is part of the process. If it goes unrebutted, it stands as a fact.
Okay, so now there's something I could talk about. It's Monday. I ain't doing the camera right now. All right. So here's been the issue with common law, right? Here's been the issue with common law. The issue with common law has been something that has been avoided. I'm going to play this other video in a second, and you're going to see why. Because a lot of people that are sharing this information, and like I said, you know, for the YouTube and their administrators and oversights and ombudsmen, just sharing information, how people look at the system in United States and their experiences, maybe, or whatever, or what they might be talking about. So it's not mine. I'm here to make sure that people get a clear understanding of what they're listening to. See what I'm saying? All right, YouTube? For sure. We've been doing good so far. Obviously, you know, I've been in pocket, I would say. So we slide. We slide in parallel. We running parallel right now. We running parallel. But the common law situation, right? You got 1871. A lot of people really don't understand the Civil War. This is why Civil War questions have been coming up. Civil War, civil rights, all these civil things that have been going on. This is why it's been a whole situational transgression right now, I would call it, of what we've been going through in regards to them trying to figure out, these supreme justices trying to figure out what actually took place during that time. Now, what is being avoided in court right now is the common law. Common law, common sense, rights, powers, duties, privacy, all those things are being avoided right now. I mean, we have a lot of issues, I will call it issues right now, that we're trying to address and seek redress. But it seems like the courts are not complying to the Supreme Court right now. Supreme Court has done a lot of things to overturn rulings, opinions, decisions that eventually led to the conflict of the Constitution and eventually the conflict of the treaties, supremacy clause, right? The supremacy clause, right? In that supremacy clause, you're dealing with the supreme law of the land. right? Not the supreme law of the fiction, not the supreme law of the property. It's the supreme law of the land. All right, let's get that clear. These rulings and these opinions and these 6-3s, 5-4s, or whatever that's been going on in the Supreme Court of these justices over the last 100+ years have, how do I say it, has specifically came in violation, knowingly, willfully, came in violation of the Constitution and the laws and treaties of the land. All right, so he's saying it's common law, but who's going to listen to common law? Under what has transpired since over 100, I'll say what, 150? Let's go 150 years. 155 years. 155 years. What has transpired? You do not have a judiciary. And they can even go further than that. They actually go way back to 1789, where the judiciary never, it was taken out. There is no judiciary dealing with the common law aspect of the rule of law and the law of the land, the supremacy clause. So what he's saying is, in a perfect world, what he's saying, yeah, but under the circumstances, how society and how the system is structured right now, no. Because you have the War Powers Act, you have the Trading with the Enemy Act, then you have the Patriot Act, you have the Federal Reserve Act, you have the Social Security Act, you have all these things that was put in place along with these executive orders during that time over the last 100+ years. And we could go into the 150 years. Now, granted, a lot of these constitutional protected things have been still in place because there's a remedy. But let me give you an example. What would you do if you did all these things he said and you got no response? Because he's saying that if you get no response, it's considered to be unrebutted, it's considered to be the truth or a fact, right? Under the maxims, unrebutted affidavit is the truth in commerce. In commerce. So that means you're still dealing with commerce, or the Commerce Clause, right? That's Article 1. Exactly, King Chameleon. But if you look at it from the perspective, it says that unrebutted affidavit is the truth in commerce. So there's still commercial dealings going on. So how are we going to be able to deal with the law of the land? And who are you in relationship to the United States of America? So if you are one of those people that are subject to the United States, right? Because the key question has always been subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. If you are subject to that jurisdiction, you are a United States citizen. And if you are a United States citizen, by definition, you are a peon. And you are taxable. You are to be numbered taxable, in any property that you have, real or otherwise, movable or immovable, is subject to the jurisdiction of the United States. So what he's talking about is good. It's good. But there's an aspect of what he's saying that's being left out. All you're doing when you're doing this, based on the fundamentals of what I've looked into, all you're making sure that you're doing is notifying, giving notice to these entities of what you are and what you are not. It's about as simple as I can make it. What you are and what you are not. The other thing you got to understand is, where are your instruments being recorded? Who are they to be recorded with? Or if they need to be recorded at all. See, a lot of people don't understand what a private versus public versus private. A lot of those things get a little mixed up, but I'm not knocking the brother. I mean, he has great information, but he's still operating from a position of a United States citizen. So just know that. But it ain't nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with it. He's just letting them know, hey, I'm this, not that. And that's where he should be doing it. But it's not giving you any extra powers that you think you have. You have none. Outside of what you control within yourself. Yeah, these instruments are in the public. But what I want to do, I want to capture them. I want to make sure that like they say, is I want to make sure that I'm letting you know I'm the captain of this ship. All these vessels are under my control. Yeah, you can make your claim because they do belong to you because you created these instruments. But I control them now. And I'm the beneficiary of it. Now, if you want to deal with the other aspect of what came before the United States of America, now you're getting into a whole different realm. But he all right. He all right. Doing good. All right. Let's keep going.
This is what makes you Teflon Don in the legal system. Now you building a solid foundation. I know y'all want to get to the juicy UCC1 filings. The IRS, we're going to get there, but you can't build a house on a faulty foundation. You have to go through lawful procedure.
Absolutely right. Absolutely right. Am I still off mute? Yep. Absolutely right. Yeah, you got to have a solid foundation. You got to have fundamentals. See, but he's talking about UCC ones and all that type of stuff, but that's a whole nother aspect of it. That is all Admiralty law. That is Admiralty law. All this is under the Commerce Clause. It's Article 1. Right? Remember, Ray Donovan versus Rodriguez. All statute codes are for public officials, employees, and government officials and entities only. It's not for the human. The human is the creator next to God. We're not bound by these codes. And all this, what he's doing, is in Admiralty. It's in a contract law. See what I'm saying? He actually think that this is actually making him free. No, that's giving you control. You are already free. You are a sovereign from birth. I don't care what nobody say. Oh, no, sovereigns is no. You're sovereign from birth. That's what you are. You came in this world by yourself, unless you're a twin, and you're gonna leave by yourself. And even as a twin, you coming in by yourself, and you leaving by yourself, unless you and your twin decide to leave together. Outside of that, that's just what it is. All these instruments are just what they are, instruments. But, you know, he saying what he's saying, and it's good. But that's a whole nother aspect. All right. Doing well, young man. Here we go.
Because when you go in that courtroom, what? Ignorance of the law is no excuse, and you better know what you're talking about. You better have went through the right procedures. You will not find case law online where somebody went through the lawful procedures and didn't get a favorable outcome. Matter of fact, anytime you challenge jurisdiction or make a special appearance or beat the court, they're not even going to record that case anyway. So you're not going to be able to find it online. If you want the full manual with the work.
All right, we good there. He's going to do his advertisement. Here we go. Next one.
Did my thing in court yesterday. Just got a call from the police chief. They want to talk to me. This is the exact next day. Want to talk to me because I placed a lien on one of their officers' badge and gun.
Now, you better know what you're doing when you're doing this. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is this, like, get it, how you live it. And just make sure that you're doing everything the proper way if you're going to do something like this. You know what I'm saying? This is why I'm playing it. Not to encourage him, to make sure that, or anybody else to do what he's doing, but make sure you know what you're doing. You see what I'm saying? So, there you go.
They unable to operate without that, you know what I'm saying? So, see what they want to talk about. Just got this handed to by the chief himself. You got to make these officers liable, man, for their negative behavior, you know. Sometimes you can't go after the officers direct, so you go after the insurance. So the chief of police just handed me this himself. See what this say, liability claim. I don't play no games, man. Y'all be letting these people make it, handle you any type of way. You know what I mean? Gotta hold them liable.
Yeah, indeed. Appreciate everybody being here. In and out, in and out, in and out. King Chameleon. There you go. There you go. Yep, make it happen. I like this right here. Yep, here you go. And he giving you scripture on it. That's what I'm talking about right there. Yep. All right, let's keep it going.
USC 1441 states that the judge cannot prosecute us, and we haven't had judges since 1789, and they lost nationality, then that means we've been taken over by foreign invaders. That's literally our fellow man violating us, we the people. And I'm sure you guys watched Trump's speech last night.
That the reason we can't find our family members on the 5 civilized tribes because their application.
Yeah, I wanted to move these things around a little bit because basically, like how that lined up, like what she was talking about, let me move that down and connect it to this other one. We'll make that the end.
Got rejected. And what if I told you that tens of thousands of these rejected applications are sitting in a vault?
Now, what she's doing right here, this is interesting. So, no, everybody talk about the dolls, rolls, and all that type of stuff. Like what she's saying right here, interesting. She is actually saying that because she talks real fast. She's actually saying that the reason why a lot of our people, so-called black people, wasn't on these dolls rolls because they was rejecting our applications and held them separate. This is what she's saying. She is saying actually that a lot of these dolls rolls, this is what I'm saying about the information that we just want to run from because it has a white boy connotation to it or some type of white supremacist theory to it. We run from the information instead of running to it. Run to it, not from it, run to it. She actually saying, and she's good. She just talked too damn fast for me. But she is actually saying that a lot of the applications was denied from actual people that will be basically considered to be natural Indians. How about that? See where she goes with this. I'm gonna reboot this, and then we can see where actually she going with. All right, come on. Come on, cutie.
What if I told you that the reason we can't find our family members on the 5 civilized tribes because their application got rejected? And what if I told you that tens of thousands of these rejected applications are sitting in a vault, underground, carved 700 feet into solid granite, nuclear blast resistant, and inaccessible to the public, along with other crucial family records that are tied to this land?
Now, make sure I'm off mute. All right. Now, here's the interesting thing that I had thought about when I heard this. DOGE, the Department of Governmental Efficiency Department, that department. That was the AI system that the old boy that run Tesla did. And when you saw these interviews, right? And I'm gonna pull these old interviews up where they had Jesse Waters interview his whole crew. I mean, he had people young. Like, people don't understand that dude, I can't think of his name right now, that dude Tesla, that got X and all that stuff. He's young. He's not that old. He's in his 40s. And the people that he had around in that interview that was sitting there, probably like all in their 20s and 30s. These cats had money. Like, these are millionaires. These cats is 20, 30-year-old millionaires that understand the software system and have done major things with that software system and made money. Even, you know, when you look at them, they look like Dexter's Laboratory, where they didn't, you know, or Pinky and the Brain, where they trying to take over the world and pretty much breached every data system. When it was interviewing, these dudes had the whole system locked in to their AI system. And they found out all kind of stuff. See, everybody was just focused on the Social Security and the tax and all that stuff and that type of fraud, PPP and all that stuff. They wasn't just looking at that. Whatever database that they set up, whatever system, AI system, so-called AI system they set up, because people think AI just was created last week. Whatever they set up at that time was connected to every single agency, department, system of any sort, not just in the United States and not just in America, but in the world. Anybody that was doing any business with the United States of America, they tapped into it. So you don't think that this might be what she's talking about might be an aspect of, I mean, because obviously she knows something that because they talked about this underground mountain of some sort where things were being stored under there, and they still was operating, because this is what the guy said that on Tesla and X. He said they were still operating from the early 1900s. They still was getting their mail by Pony Express, horse and buggy. That everything that was done in that mountain was done manually by hand. And you know why? Because they didn't want to get anything tapped into. There was vital information, precious information that they did not want on that wire. You know what that is? I think she's talking about it right now. I think she is.
This is only for educational and informational purposes only. Anything I say in this video is backed by historical documents. Do your own research and use your own discernment. This is not misinformation. This is history through another lens. Yes, our families could have applied to be citizens of the Creek, Cherokee, Choctaw, Chickasaw, and Seminole tribes. These applications were submitted during the Dole Commission process of 1896. What's in these rejected applications? These files are extremely valuable because they contain things like sworn testimony, witness statements, tribal affiliation claims, family trees, place of residence, sometimes ancestry that goes back generations. They are much more detailed than the later Dole's rolls. People who applied for tribal citizenship often appeared there first, and they're under the intruders list, rejected enrollment process, and Dole's Commission testimonies. The word intruder does not necessarily mean they didn't have any indigenous ancestry. It just means that they wasn't recognized by the tribal government as citizens.
No, I haven't seen this whole thing. I actually stopped it before we got here. I haven't seen this yet. Wow. Okay. Y'all got that?
Applications from the Bureau of Indian Affairs Muskogee Area Office relating to enrollment in the 5 civilized tribes under the Act of
You see how fast she be talking? Slow the fuck down. God damn.
1896. Letters sent and letters received and other documents. Look at the dates. 1874, 1907, 1859 to December 1884. Where are they located? Once again, Granite Mountain Record Vault.
That's the same place they was talking about. Granite Mountain Record Vault. Granite Mountain. That means that is a mine. That's like that mountain, that area, you can go in there, dig, and pull out granite, like minerals. And that thing is protected. That thing can survive a nuclear bomb. They'll be sleeping on America. I don't get it. They won't talk about anything else outside of what's real.
Many of those rejected applications ended up on those microfilm sets, and historians and archivists estimated there were tens of thousands of these applications submitted during the enrollment process for the 5 civilized tribes. Unfortunately,
5 civilized tribes. We need to figure out what that means. People think that it means a lot of different things, but yeah, we need to look into that.
Many of those films ended up
Salt Lake City, Utah.
in this vault. The world's most secure buildings, the Grand.
Right? You got the what? What's that Mormon library where they got all this information you go look up?
Granite Mountain Records Vault in Salt Lake City, Utah. This vault is ran by Family Search. Facts about the Granite Mountain Records Vault. The vault is located under 700 feet of solid mountain stone. The majority of occupied space is dedicated to family history records. And the vault is owned and operated by the Church of Jesus Christ and Latter-day Saints through FamilySearch.org.
The Mormons, remember? The Mormons.
Today, the LDS Church claims to have the records of over 12 billion deceased people, some going all the way back to the 1st century CE. Data collectors on 220 teams in 45 countries, along with hundreds of thousands of Mormon volunteers, are digitizing millions of paper records, photos, microfilms, and more. By 2014, the church records were 32 times the size of data recorded by the U.S. Library of Congress.
She doesn't do this justice. Young lady, you can't do this justice if you're reading so damn fast. There's no context to what you're doing. I mean, come on now. Like, this is some powerful, slow down. Might work. She said, going all the way back to the 1st century of what they would consider to be the Christian era. People say BC, before Christ. No, it's BCE, before Christian era. Now, and then the other part, you take the B out, there's just CE, Christian era. So it's not AD, Anno Domini or whatever they say, AD is BCE and it's CE, before Christian era and Christian era. That's it. But they supposedly have records going all the way back to so-called Jesus Christ. Think about that. Think about that. So if they have records here in America in a granite mountain vault, that means that there is prominent records that will pretty much debunk the whole white supremacist narrative. The whole white supremacist narrative. Because if that's the case, that means if you got records, right? That means stuff on paper. That means there was a civilized, very influencing people, government, empire, kingdoms here in America.
What are we doing here? The total number of unreleased records in the Granite Mountain Records Vault is not publicly available, but the vault contains more than 3.5 billion images across 2.5 million rows of microfilm and 1 million micro.
Man, I would like to be able to do what she do. I would like to be able to do what she do. She reads fast, you know, and you could tell she's reading so fast that she does this for a living. Like, this is what she does for a living. Like, she's really put her time and energy into this. This is why she can talk so fast. She can spit it. But as you can tell, she's young and she's not a teacher. She hasn't learned how to be a teacher. She's talking. This is like talking at somebody instead of, you know, bringing people in, like, you know, mama, being a mama. You know what I'm saying? Like, let me take my time. Let me talk to you. Let me show you this. You know, but she's very excited, very energized about her information that she's provided, and is absolutely amazing. Like I said, we all need each other.
Speech according to newscaribbean.churchofjesus.org. The unreleased status refers to records that have not yet been digitized and made available online through the Church Family History website. And here's how it looks from the outside. What if I told you?
Powerful. I'm gonna leave that up. Let me bring it all the way over to the edge, so that way I don't get confused. All right, let's go. Turn to the corner.
Then you should be a true racist and not use anything or be involved with anything that was invented or created by blacks. Do you want a list? The ironing board, the refrigerator, the baby carriage, the shoemaking machines, the traffic signal, the incandescent.
Well, she is hot. She's in her eyes. She's like, wait till I catch you outside. Been trying to remember that woman's name. She had what she had. You know what I'm saying? She really did like black people. You know, they pretty much silenced her real quick. I think after she did this one, she was pretty much done. After she did this show, she was done. I remember this show too. And that girl's looking at her like, I bet not catch you slipping. You're mine. You're a nigger lover. You're done.
Light bulb, the folding bed, the mailbox, air conditioning, elevator. You want me to go on?
This is a nation that
she was. Ooh, boy, you saw the devil in her. Jeez.
invented the light bulb, the telegraph, the television, the telephone, the computer chip, the smartphone, the GPS, the integrated circuit, and even the internet. Basically, we invented everything.
We? We.
Gonna be a
Let's just have this play again for shits and giggles.
racist, then you should be a true racist and not use anything or be involved with anything that was invented or created by blacks. Do you want a list? The ironing board, the refrigerator, the baby carriage, the shoemaking machines, the traffic signal, the incandescent light bulb, the folding bed, the mailbox, air conditioning, elevator. Do you want me to go on?
This is a nation that invented the light bulb, the telegraph, the television, the telephone, the computer chip, the smartphone, the GPS, the integrated circuit, and even the internet. Basically, we invented everything.
This is what I'm saying. You get on a level of supremacy, right? Supremacy. Get on that level of supremacy. You got it too. You got it more. You say, well, we did that. Oh yeah, okay. Well, yeah, you can hit your stall to it. It's cool. But appreciate you, Trump, bringing that out. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate that. Because you already know, we know what you're saying. And everybody else know what you're saying. But you're stuck at that one spot. You can't go too far. These so-called black people created all this. That part. All right, we're going to add this one to it as well.
This day in 1880, Alexander Ashbourne earned a United States patent for refining coconut oil. He was born enslaved in 1820 and became a grocer and inventor in Oakland, California. His ideas helped shape how food was made. Most people have never heard his name. Now you have. The receipt drops at noon. Come back and see the proof. On this.
How about that? Everybody gives credit to South America, Central and South America for coconut. You know, and the islands. When you think about a coconut, you're thinking about the islands. But, you know. Anyway, on to the next. Turn in the corner.
I told you about the 4 layers of fraud, and I have covered the fact that layer 1 is on the individual county level, like your case and what's happening to you. Layer 2 is what is billed by the state, and the state collects all of the county's data about what should be reimbursed by the federal government, and the attorney general and the governor submit that into the federal government for reimbursement for the 66% match that comes out of Title 4D. And then the 3rd level is the federal government actually paying those. Actually, they should be verifying those, making sure that they can defend the spend and that they should pay that. And if they can't defend the spend, they will ask the states to defend that spend. And you've seen them do that now as they've looked at fraud, especially healthcare fraud in a number of areas. And then the 4th is that when that money comes back from the feds to the states, the places that it is spent and how it might be nefariously spent. Those are the 4 levels of fraud. So I have now told you about the 4 layers of fraud, and I have covered the fact that layer 1 is on the individual county level, like your case and what's happening to you. Layer 2 is what is billed by the state, and the state collects all of the county's data about what should be reimbursed by the federal government, and the attorney general and the governor submit that into the federal government for reimbursement for the 66% match that comes out of Title 4D. And then the 3rd level is the federal government actually paying those. Actually, they should.
Well, let's do this again because she said under Title 4D, right? Title 4D is connected to the Social Security Act. All right, so Title 4D, Social Security Act. Based on my research and based on experience, personal experience, Title 4D is where these people get your information. So anytime there's a baby that comes into this world, there's a birth certificate and all that stuff, and there's a man that's attached to that birth certificate, they are doing a Title 4D application. Social Security, in order to get your information. And they apply with that application under your name once you apply for AFDC or anything else for that matter. So with that birth certificate, there's an application that comes before or you get a certificate of title or a certificate of live birth, whatever you might want to call it. They actually take that information and they submit it to Social Security Administration under Title 4D. Now, under Title 4D, that's also connected to the Hague Convention, right? That's connected to the Hague. Now, the Hague was initially just randomly talking right now. I'm just talking, can't be verified. But the Hague was basically constructed for the prohibiting of trafficking in women and children. Somehow, this got manipulated in child support, marriage licenses, birth certificates. So it went from now the man and the woman being the mother, the father, the custodian of that baby that came into this world, that star child that came into this world and chose that mother and father to be the one to protect them, birth them, raise them, teach them, groom them, raise them into full adults. The government has then, through these instruments, through these acts, so on and so forth, right? This is just me talking. Pretty much brought these people, took that power, was able to construct something in order to take that power from them, to transfer title over to the government. Remember, I've talked about that prior, transferring title, conveying property. And then from that point, mother and father gets a certificate of that title, showing that they still have some beneficial interest, or now that beneficial interest has just been passed into that baby. So it's an issue that needs to be dealt with. But that's just my little synopsis on that. All right? Take it as you will.
Verifying those, making sure that they can defend the spend and that they should pay that. And if they can't defend the spend, they will ask the states to defend that spend. And you've seen them do that now as they've looked at fraud, especially healthcare fraud in a number of areas. And then the fourth is that when that money comes back from the feds to the states, the places that it is spent and how it might be nefariously spent. Those are the four levels of fraud. So I have now.
So let me I said I wasn't going to do this. So let me do this real quick. Let me go to Title 42, 2000D, right? 2000 lowercase d, right? Title 42, 2000 lowercase d. Now, we know Title 42 pretty much deals with the Civil Rights Act. All right, Title 42, 2000F deals with civil rights. Not 2000D, but Title 42, that section, it deals with, there has a section that deals with civil rights. Let me show you. I didn't want to do that. All right, let me show you real quick. 42, section 2000D. All right, here we go. Now, what we're going to do here, this is what it says. If you was listening closely, I'm not going to go slow too much anymore. Go fast enough to keep it flowing, but I'm going to make sure that, you guys can comprehend what I'm saying. I'm not going to be just like the young lady. She was just too excited. But this says right here, prohibition against exclusion for participation in, denial of benefits of, and discrimination on federally assisted programs on grounds of race, color, or national origin. Well, how would this fit in what she just said? Under Title 4D. Title 4D deals with the Social Security Administration, Social Security Act. Now, this deals in family law. It's connected to The Hague. Okay, The Hague, Hague. Now, if you have Department of Child Support Services, you have the Department of Social Services, you have the Department of Child Protective Services, you also have the Department of Health and Human Services, which all these, well, you have the Health and Human Service Agency, and then you have these departments that are up under HHS. So we have that. And that is a part of the bureaucratic system, the pyramid that is under the United States of America, or what they call now the United States government. So that means that the Department of Child Support, the Department of Child Protective Services, the Department of Social Services are getting federal funds. Got it? So that way, when we listen to her again, because she's talking fast too, you know, women, that's how women talk. Women just be getting it off. They just be spitting that. They dealing cards. Got to be able to catch up. This is why us men learn how to shut our ears off. We got one ear working, the other one somewhere else. And then we just, that one ear is just saying, what can I pick up? What news I can use? And make sure when she said, are you listening? You say, yeah. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm listening. And then you can formulate a question based on the woman's changing of her pitch and her tone. Oh, that's something I need to be listening to. Okay. Well, it's a good thing. Y'all should try it sometime. It'll work. So with this 2000D, that's federal funds. You say, well, how was this discrimination thing applied? Well, based on what she's saying that you can get money. Like the states, the counties, they're all getting money and they have to qualify the spending of it. And she also mentioned the word nefarious. So are you using these funds to weaponize this department to go after a specific people? Right? Because you're talking about race, color, or national origin. The other thing that's not included in there, what they use is gender. So are you just going after men? It ain't always got to be so-called black men. You going after men? Or are you going after a status or whatever that you're picking and choosing who you want to go after? Or is it because of their status or how much money they make? Because, you know, women get it too. It's just depending who got the money. So this is what we're talking about here. This is where 2000D comes in, because, you know, they try to make sense of it. Like, where would this come in? Well, this is the foundation. Are you getting federal funds? Yes. So like a 501c3, if you're getting federal funds, or if you even organize or incorporated as a 501c3 public benefit or charitable organization or government, then the one thing you cannot do is discriminate. Even if you're not getting funds, you still can't discriminate because you are considered to be tax exempt. So if you're tax exempt, that means funds that come in, however it might come in, is for the benefit to go back out to the public. So whatever comes in must go right back out. So on the 70-30 tip, right? 70 is for administration, right? You got administrative issues, you got employees. That's a lot of the bulk of your money. But the other 30% has to go into public programs. You know what I'm saying? In order to assist the people. Right? But anybody that might be dealing with this child support stuff, I implore you to look at your billing statement and tell me what you see based off what I already shared. Principal, interest. Where's the interest in the principal? Where is all this have to do with my baby? What's it got to do with my woman and my baby? Principal and interest. This is where these applications turn over or transfer title or transfer ownership from one entity to the other. All right. So anyway, let's get back to it. I would say I apologize for the changing of the direction, but nah.
I told you about the 4 layers of fraud, and I have covered the fact that layer 1 is on the individual county level, like your case and what's happening to you. Layer 2 is what is billed by the state, and the state collects all of the county's data about what should be reimbursed by the federal government. And the attorney general and the governor submit that into the federal government for reimbursement for the 66% match that comes out of Title 4D. And then the 3rd level is the federal government actually paying those. Actually, they should be verifying those, making sure that they can defend the spend and that they should pay that. And if they can't defend the spend, they will ask the states to defend that spend. And you've seen them do that now as they've looked at fraud, especially healthcare fraud in a number of areas. And then the 4th is that when that money comes back from the feds to the states, the places that it is spent and how it might be nefariously spent. Those are the 4 levels of fraud. So
the judge ignores your evidence, say these exact words. Let the record reflect that I offered my evidence and it is being excluded. Respectfully, I request the court to state the legal basis for excluding my evidence on and for the record. Save this. Legal education is a superpower. Spread the word and follow for more.
Spoke on how the elections have been rigged. And although he was talking about Obama up here, I need you to come down to local level because we're starting to realize that these people have no authority. And the 17th letter talks about how they will not be able to walk among us. At first I was thinking, not Oprah. Oprah's never walked among us. We don't see the celebrities at t-ball games or gymnastics meets, but we may see the judges, the clerks, and the policy enforcers. When more people start to realize actually what's going on, they're not going to be able to walk among us. It's treason. The penalty is pretty high for that too. And you can't go off on, well, I was just doing what I was told. No. That's not how that works. Okay, we need to talk. If 18 USC 1441 states that the judge cannot prosecute us, and we haven't had judges since 1789, and they
So, 1789. See what I'm saying? We haven't had judges since 1789. It's interesting that she said that. She didn't back it up with anything, but it's interesting that she said that. I don't know where she was going with that. I don't know where she was going with that. No judges since 1789. Judges, Article 2 and Article 3 was brought later. It was called the Continental Congress for a reason. It was only Congress. That's it. So, I don't know. It's interesting. Let's see where else she goes with this.
lost nationality, then that means we've been taken over by foreign invaders. That's literally our fellow man violating us, we the people. And I'm sure you guys watched Trump's speech last night. He spoke on how the elections have been rigged. And although he was talking about Obama up here, I need you to come down to local level because we're starting to realize that these people have no authority. And the 17th letter talks about how they will not be able to walk among us. At first I was thinking, not Oprah. Oprah's never walked among us. We don't see the celebrities at t-ball games or gymnastics meets, but we may see the judges, the clerks, and the policy enforcers. When more people start to realize actually what's going on, they're not going to be able to walk among us. It's treason. The penalty is pretty high for that too. And you can't go off on, well, I was just doing what I was told. No. That's not how that works. Okay, we need to talk.
All right. That was pretty much it. All right. Now she said we ain't had judges since 1789. But at this time, she's saying we, right? Remember, we dealing with the we. Who's we? We who? You know what I'm saying? Who is we? What happened? Hold on, let me reboot this. Who is we?
Now, let me explain something that most people don't know. I think this audience probably does, but there may be others who don't know. In 1871, the Congress, the 41st Congress, committed additional treason by creating a constitution called the Constitution of the United States.
All right. So he's saying 1871. What the previous young lady said was 1789. They ain't been judges. So we're almost talking about 90 years. Almost 90 years. Now we know 1871, we're dealing with Reconstruction, right? They call it the Reconstruction era. Nobody never thought about that from the perspective of what we see it now, because they always equated the Reconstruction era to the industrial movement. All right. So this guy is saying that in 1871, there was another constitution. Now we know Abraham Lincoln, you know what I'm saying, you know, was taken out, as they say, allegedly by Booth. So we can say, okay, well, is this why he was taken out? Because 1871, 1868, 1865, that he, and these greenbacks. This is going to be the premises of the conversation that we're about to have. I'm going to go in on, and then we'll be done. Going to set the table for this. So let's see.
Okay, in all cap letters. It was a corporate constitution that created corporate governments across this country. Every government in this country now, lock, stock, and barrel, many police departments, fire departments, school departments, doesn't matter what it is. They are corporations. And those who are elected to office take an oath to this corporate 1871 Constitution and not the original 1787 Constitution. So they're traitors, and they have been traitors for a long time, taking an oath and upholding a foreign constitution that serves other agenda and not the people of the United States, and certainly not our Constitution and constitutional republic. Now, if you don't know this, you really should know it. Look up the Constitution, the unconstitutional Constitution of 1871. This is why our country, and it's not the only reason, but this is a primary reason why our country is in the trouble it's in. Now, let me explain.
Right. So, right. So he's saying this is why the United States of America is in the trouble it's in. Now we've looked at things because, you know, So, you know, I'd have, and I still am working on certain things in order to make sure that, you know, remedy might be in place. You know, we own repair and restore. So if what he is saying is true, and that this 1871 thing, because as I mentioned, the 14th Amendment, the 14th Amendment, 13th, the new 13th Amendment, the 14th Amendment, the 15th, the 16th, all these four amendments, which were vital. If these things were not ratified by the necessary states, and if he's saying that everything that we deal with is dealing with some type of corporate structure, then what does that make these individuals? Are they knowingly participating in this, or are they unknowingly participating in this and thinking that they're coming in to, you know, defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic? Who knows? Are they pledging allegiance to the Republic, or are they pledging allegiance to the corporation? Okay, so that's the key. Now, keep this in mind.
There's a role for banks in almost everything that's happening in the economy. But what exactly is that role? I'd like to reflect on that. Banks are being thought of as intermediaries, but this is not really what's happening. Banks.
Hold on. My bad. I'm going to play this one first.
Anybody who got to cheat to win is a sucker. And you continue to do this because you don't have a better vision. You don't have a better plan. You are your ancestors' children and grandchildren. Thieves, robbers, liars, consistently. Because you'll go to church on Sunday, tell the Lord you love him. Pray, but you ain't praying out of the same Bible I'm praying out of, can't be. Isaiah 1:17.
Are you directing this to us?
I am.
Okay. I'm asking that you don't directly. No. I'm asking that we don't be called names. I'm asking.
Yeah, that hurt him right there. That hurt him. Yeah, they don't want to be reminded that they're going against God's law. That's what they don't want to be reminded of.
I didn't call you a name. What did I call you?
Liars.
Do you lie? All men lie. The Bible says that.
Senator Carter, briefly.
Mr. Chairman, this is public comment. The First Amendment allows freedom of speech and expression 100% without limitation. I'm going to say it again. Anybody who got to cheat to win.
Oh, yeah, that's that one brother from Louisiana. All right. Well, let's go back here.
Are they then? They're creators of the money supply.
So you're firmly of the view that banks create money out of thin air?
Yes, well, I produced the first empirical studies to prove that in the 5,000-year history of banking. Banks are thought of as deposit-taking institutions that lend money. The legal reality is banks don't take deposits and banks don't lend money. So what is a deposit? A deposit is not actually a deposit. It's not a bailment. It's not held in custody. At law, the word deposit is meaningless. The law courts and various judgments.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, shit. He just hit me in the gut. I've been talking about deposit and everything. He like, oh, no, sir. No, sir. Nobody. Up your game a little bit there, buddy. Buddy old coach, buddy old pal. You're missing something. Wait a minute. I got to go back.
So there's a role for banks in almost everything that's happening in the economy. But what exactly is that role? quickly, I'd like to reflect on that. Banks are being thought of as intermediaries, but this is not really what's happening. Banks,
What are they then?
they're creators of the money supply.
So you're firmly of the view that banks create money out of thin air?
Yes, well, I produced the first empirical studies to prove that in the 5,000-year history of banking. Banks are thought of as deposit-taking institutions that lend money. The legal reality is banks don't take deposits and banks don't lend money. So what is a deposit? A deposit is not actually a deposit. It's not a bailment. It's not held in custody. At law, the word deposit is meaningless.
Wait, hold on, man. He got that. Now he's taking his time talking, but to me, he's like just hitting me over the head right now. Hold on, man. Oh, I gotta take a deep breath. Gotta take a deep breath. I haven't listened to this. Oh, time out, man. Time out. We gotta take a period of intermission because he just hit me in the gut, like, and took the wind. You know, have you ever been hit and you knocked the wind out of you? Phew. Yeah, man. That is what he just did. I'm taking a break right now. Hold on. I got to prepare myself for the rest. Because now I got to adjust. Yeah. It's, yeah, man. Cool. I can take it. You know what I mean? I can take it. I can take it, actually. I can definitely take it. Yep. Mm-hmm. Ooh, boy. You see, I'm kind of, I had to turn the camera on this one. I don't even know what to say. Kind of, got to go back to the lab. I don't even know what to say. See, this is why you have to do these things, because things might pop up and it might change your trajectory. Man. All right. Let me see if we got some middle ground with this guy. See if we got some middle ground with this guy. All right. Where you go? There you go.
The law courts and various judgments have made very clear, if you give your money to a bank, even though it's called a deposit, this money is simply a loan to the bank.
That's true. Yeah.
So there is no such thing as a deposit.
So you think it's
loans to the bank.
Okay, I got my middle ground. He said these are loans to the bank. He said that's true. All right, cool, man. Damn. I was nervous. I haven't listened to this. I was a little nervous there. Hold on, man. Let's come on back. Yeah. Phew. All right. Don't worry about it. We're going to play it again. I was a little nervous. He said they are loans to the bank. I don't know if y'all heard that or not, but he did say they are loans to the bank. He said, yes, they are. All right. Let's continue.
Then.
So banks borrow from the public. Okay, so that much we've established. What about lending? Surely they're lending money. No, they don't. Banks don't lend money. Banks, again, at law, it's very clear, they're in the business of purchasing securities. That's it.
I'm doing good, y'all. I'm back. I'm doing good. All right. This is it. Look. I've been waiting to find a video like this where we got some proper English, British talking people that can have a serious conversation that nobody can refute. See what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm good. Okay, so I'm up 2-1. I'm up 2-1. One was deposits, special deposits, all that type of stuff. Yeah, he hit me in the gut on that one, but I got my win back. I'm up 2-1. How did I turn this into a game of points?
So you say, okay, don't, confuse me with all that legalese.
No.
I want a loan. I want a loan.
Yep.
Fine. Here's the loan contract. Here's the offer letter, and you sign. At law, it's very clear. You have issued a security, namely a promissory note, and the bank.
I'm doing good. I'm up 3-1. That's 3. I'm up 3-1. I'm up 3-1. Look, we got small class today. So whoever is sitting up in them stands, 7 people up in there. Well, it's really 6 because I got my thing going. So it's really only 6 people up in there. Hey, look, y'all are getting the gold. Here's the gold right here. Here we go. And I'm looking good right now. I know. I didn't made this into a whole competition point game. Huh? Thank you.
Is going to purchase that. That's what's happening.
Put it in layman's terms. What does that mean?
It means that what the bank is doing is very different from what it presents to the public that it's doing. How does this fit together? So you say, fine, the bank purchases my promissory note, but how do I get my money? I want, it's a loan. I want
200 grand. Right?
I don't care about the details. I want the money. The bank will say, well, you'll find it in your account with us. That would be technically correct. If they say, we'll transfer it to your account, that's wrong because no money is transferred at all.
It's already
from anywhere inside the bank or outside the bank. Why? Because what we call a deposit is simply the bank's record of its debt to the public. Now, it also owes you money, and its record of the money it owes you is what you think you're getting as money. And that's all it is. And that is how the banks create the money supply. The money supply consists to 97% of bank deposits.
We're going to stop right there. We're going to stop right there. Got more stuff to do. And I'm on a time schedule. We got to stop right there. Hey, I'm up 4-1 on this thing. You got me on the deposit. Cool. The other 4, bingo, 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 bingo. Thank you. Damn, and he took it up another notch and put something on top of that, what I was already been talking about. Man, let me tell you something. All right. Now, let's get into this Jesse Waters thing. All right, let's get into Jesse Waters. We're going to talk about it. And yeah, what up, D-Cobb? What's going on, brother? But yeah, man, I'm just saying. So that's cool. We on the same page. Definitely on the same page because this is all I say. I don't say nothing else but this. Money on the table. That's where I'm at. Money on the table. All right, so let me go to this Jesse Waters video, and this is 5 minutes. We're gonna get into this, and we're gonna get into this. Let's go back. There we go. Well, let's just start from the gate. So we're gonna get into this and look into this communication, man. Shout out to Nonetheless. He shot me this. And we got the full video. Let's go.
Mr. Secretary, tell us a little bit about the building.
Jesse, it's a great building. This is the cash room. They actually used to have the inaugural ball in here when the country was getting started. And this is a house that Hamilton built. We've had some great Treasury secretaries. We had Hamilton, we had Salmon Chase, who financed the U.S. government during the Civil War. We had Morgenthau during the Depression and World War II. So it's a great building.
And now we have Scott Besson.
Now we do.
Okay, so he said Salmon Chase, right? So J.P. Morgan Chase Bank.
Number 79. I always like to point out within 79.
He said, and now we have Scott Besson. So what is Scott Besson funding, putting his money in there? This is where you got to give these people some credit. They talk matter-of-factly because they know the system, they know the history, they know everything that's going on, so they can discuss it without all the feelings and emotions and speculations. That's how it's presented. Look at that place, man. It is laced in gold. Look at that.
9 Treasury secretaries, only 47 presidents. So the job security is not as good. Chase, who financed the U.S. government during the Civil War. We had Morgenthau during the Depression and World War II. So it's a great building.
And now we have Scott Besson.
Now we do. Number 79. I always like to point out within 79 Treasury secretaries, only 47 presidents. So the job security is not as good.
And you're right next door to the White House.
We look over at the White House. Before the ballroom construction started, it was 4.5 minutes for me to get from my office to the Oval.
Do you hear construction all day now?
I hear construction in my dreams now. But I've never seen such fast construction. They start at 5 in the morning. They finish at midnight.
Does the president ever say, Mr. Besson, I'd like to take some things from the Treasury Department and bring it to the White House?
Well, in the Roosevelt Room, there is a beautiful painting of Alexander Hamilton that used to be outside my door. And used to be. So the president sent over some beautiful gold gilting for my office. So it wasn't exactly an even trade, but for President Trump, it was pretty even.
He usually comes out on top.
Not usually, always.
Always. What are we looking at here? These look exquisite.
Yep. So these are the displays of our currency over the years. Some of it, like we used to have silver certificates. We used to be backed by silver, sometimes gold. And then in the 70s, we just went to what was called fiat currency, where you didn't have to keep gold or silver in the vault. If any of these are still outstanding, though, the silver or gold for them is the at Fort Knox, waiting for them to be claimed.
Jesse wanted to say, what? Oh, yeah, buddy.
So needed.
Have you visited Fort Knox?
I haven't. People on my staff has. We're going to the treasurer's office. The treasurer has been to Fort Knox. I am happy to say all gold is present and accounted for. The U.S. has the largest pile of gold in the world, over $1 trillion at current market value.
And we're getting more gold from Venezuela, I hear.
We're getting a lot from Venezuela. We're getting gold. These oil sales are going great. It's going back to the Venezuelan people.
We have the Trump accounts. This is something very special, and it's for everybody, not just people with means.
The Trump account, children born during President Trump's term, Treasury is going to seed them with $1,000, and then all other children, parents can open Trump accounts. They go to trumpaccounts.gov, form 4547. When you're filling out your taxes, you can do it either way. And I think this is one of the great social benefits for young people since the GI Bill. And Michael and Susan Dell are contributing $250 per account for children not in the top 20% of the income brackets and a certain age group. So everybody should open one. We've got a lot of philanthropists contributing, foundations, corporate matches. Micron announced a $250 million contribution for their employees. And I think we're probably going to have 23 states that are going to put the money in. So everybody should open one.
We have to make sure Fox is doing a match.
Oh, a triple match. Triple match.
We're having a lot of babies. We want people to have babies during the Trump administration.
Exactly. You can claim the 1,000, the vice president's done it, chief of staff, the Caroline Leavitt. So
Stephen Miller.
Stephen Miller. So
you guys are very busy.
We know what their hobby is.
Many people believe because of the president's immigration policies, you're getting more American jobs and you're seeing more wage increases.
Well, that's what the data is showing. So prior to April, we saw real wage gains for working Americans every month during President Trump's term. I think we'll be back to that next month. And because the mass unfettered immigration has stopped, we've had about 1.82 million both voluntary and mandatory deportations. These jobs are for American jobs. And Jesse, what's more important is these are private sector jobs.
Right.
Like government jobs can be, we have some great government servants, but real wage growth does not come from government jobs. It's the private sector.
And DOJ took care of some of those excess government jobs.
The president has cut back on government. We're right-sizing it, and all we're doing is right-sizing it back to the pre-COVID levels. Like there was this incredible blowout in government bloat, and it's like the president says, I could create 1 million, 2 million jobs if I wanted to blow up the government, but then the deficit goes up, productivity goes down, and I think we're in the middle or on the cusp of a big productivity boom, just like we had in the 90s.
In the 90s, this is when, this is what I'm saying. This is when we was eating. Our communities was good. And we talking about the 90s, that's when it hit its height, and they came right. When Clinton got in office, that shit went right back down. That's what I'm saying. Like in the 90s, it went in a different type of way, but I'm just saying how I mean, he looking at it from one perspective, but I mean, yeah, halfway. But money was good. Money was good. Jobs, I mean, everything was right. I don't know what, Desert Storm.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube.
All right. Now, what I'm going to do is I am going to bring up Jesse Waters' interview with, that's his name, Elon Musk and his staff. His Doge staff. There you go. Is it 12 of them? All right.
What's that say?
Part 3, here's the interview with Elon Musk and the rest of the Doge crew. We finally asked the one question on our mind. Who's big balls?
It's me. That should be obvious.
Why do they call you big balls?
I just said it as my LinkedIn username.
Okay.
Well, people on LinkedIn take themselves like super seriously, and they're pretty adverse to risk. And I was like, well, I want to be neither of those things. So I said it, and honestly, I didn't even think anyone would notice.
Yeah.
So what do you
LinkedIn
do?
is so cringe.
What does big balls do?
Right now, I'm working on some payment computer stuff. So one of our initiatives is to root out fraud and waste. And to do that, we started looking at the payment computers. And as mentioned earlier, like there is no accounting of what payments actually go to in the payment computer. So like you look at a specific line item, like $20 million. You're like, okay, well, well, what is this money going to? And for the majority of payment systems, it's like, well, we don't really know. And
yeah, they're like, what? That would be the response.
Is this the most basic responses?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the most common response.
What do you say when people just say, I don't know?
Well, it's a huge cause for concern because like the upstream thing, which is distributing the money, literally has no checks and no accountability to the actual American taxpayer. So it's a huge vector for fraud, waste, and abuse.
Do these people not respect taxpayer money?
I mean, there's no incentive to if you work in the government. I think the incentives will always decide the outcomes.
Yes.
Do you guys feel like you're putting yourself at risk by doing this because you're stirring up so much hostility by these people ripping us off?
100%. Well, we don't need to speculate about that. You can see online in the protests that they make that very clear. I mean, I've been hanged in effigy many times. And there have been people that have actively advocated at these violent protests for my death, and have also advocated for the death of the people at Doge.
I think the young folks of us have gotten hate mail, threats from reporters and the public alike. I think, speaking for myself, I dropped out of Harvard and came here to serve my country. And it's been unfortunate to see, lost friendships. Most of campus hates me now. But I think fundamentally, I hope people realize through conversations like this that reform is genuinely needed. And if there's one, I think this is important to say, if there's one group of people who really have a shot of success, it's the people here. They're up until 2 a.m. Monday through Sunday. Doge does not recognize weekends.
So, just want to play that quick thing, right? See what I'm saying? This is what they were doing. And that just goes into what I got to find the one I don't want to keep searching where Elon was talking about how they still using horse and buggy, dealing with that big old mountain. I think that's not the only mountain that they're dealing with. That the one is in Utah. I think they got one in Kansas City as well. See what I'm saying? So, yeah. Now, to get out of there, I wanted to come over here. Appreciate everybody being here. We do got a small class today, which is cool. It's Monday. All right. So remember we're talking 1871 and what these guys said, right? So just go back. We got this guy, and what she's saying, right? Think about it. All right. So I brought this up so people get an idea about the bank barons, right? So what we're going to do first, we're going to look up this American Bankers Association pamphlet. As you can see, this is the Library of Congress research guides. Then after this, we could be done. All right, so it says, banking history, central banking and the currency question in the United States. American Bankers Association pamphlet. In 2003, the Library of Congress received a pamphlet collection on 19th and 20th century banking from the American bankers. Hold on. Yeah, it'd be right if I do my camera. All right, so let's come back here. Now, the collection is made up of nearly 400 pamphlets on policies, writings, and reports of early banking history in the United States. The pamphlets focus on many formative events in monetary policy at that time, such as the currency question and a central banking system. We'll go down to the next paragraph. The banking pamphlets include materials from as early as 1810 until 1979. You remember when Scott Besson just told Jesse Waters was that when fiat currency came in 1970. Okay, so before 9 years, 9 years later, you got 1970, but 9 years later, all that considered to stop. The banking pamphlets include materials from as early as 1810 up to 1979. Now, there's been many instances, so you guys know, there's been many instances of central banks attempting to be brought in to be a part of the United States of America. And they kept getting kicked out. All right, so the majority of the boxes in collection has been organized into chronological order, with the main documents and reports falling between the years 1810 through 1920. So you got these banking pamphlets, right? You remember this sister was talking about, right? You remember what she was talking about these applications, paperworks, and everything. Then you look at what this guy was talking about in regards to these deposit accounts being open. These were nothing but these people, these so-called banks buying securities. So actually what this guy is saying is that these applications that you're filling out to open up these accounts with your endorsement is providing them with a security, and it's considered to be you lending them something. You're lending them money. Okay. So now it says a few boxes have been sorted to keep pamphlets. Okay. So a special item from the collection is a scrapbook on the civil controversy in Baltimore plan with article clippings from 1892 to 1894. That is separately boxed as item number 14. While the pamphlet collection can be found in the catalog, the contents of each box in the collection are presented through the subpages in this guide. So it has right here, this is American Bankers Association pamphlets. It's a spreadsheet right here. You have all these things going in. I am going to put a link to that into the chat so you guys can get it. Boom. So you guys got that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come over here to these 6 robber barons from America's past. Anybody knew about this type of stuff, right? Close this up. Some nice rims right there. All right. So number 1, they have up here Edward H. Harriman. All right. They connect this guy to Prescott Bush. It's Harriman. Think. George Bush Sr.'s dad. All right. So the key takeaways: robber barons were wealthy American businessmen known for using questionable practices in the 1800s and 1900s. As you see, right, we talked about the American Banking Association. It gave us this date, 1810 to 1979. Okay, it says John D. Rockefeller and Andrew Carnegie built huge companies and became rich using aggressive business tactics. J. Gould and James Fisk used unethical methods like bribery and manipulation to control the Erie Railroad. The term robber baron refers to individuals in the late 1800s and early 1900s, U.S. financiers who earned enormous amounts of money through often highly questionable practices. Corporate greed is nothing new in America. Anyone who has been the victim of restructuring, hostile takeovers, and other downsizing efforts can attest to this. Hold on. All right. Just looking at my phone real quick. So it says, nevertheless, some say that the country was built on the efforts of people like the men on this list. Oh, yeah, they always say this. Yeah, the people that built America, right? And not built America. We're talking about built the United States corporation. Let's get that straight. All right. In America. Nevertheless, some say that the country was built on the efforts of people like this. Some of the individuals were also philanthropists, especially upon retirement. Yeah, you know why? Because the Sherman Act came in. The Sherman Antitrust Act came in. This is where you get the things from the Carnegie Foundation, Ford Foundation, Rockefeller Foundation. They utilize these foundations, the 501c foundational tax structure, in order to create a shelter for what they were doing. So you got the Ford Foundation, Rockefeller Foundation, all these different type of foundations that will set up in order for them to beat the tax system. So that's why at the end of November, December, or October, November, December, this is where a lot of them got to get off some money based off that. They got to get rid of some money. So this is how they actually protect themselves, by taking the foundations. Now, this is that one series on the History Channel. They talk about the men who built America. And they talk about what they were doing after a certain time. They started putting themselves as the chairman of the board, and then received a little salary for being the chairman of the board. You see what I'm saying? So, however, the fact that they gave money out later in life did not affect their inclusion in this list. John D. Rockefeller. Andrew Carnegie. John Pierpont Morgan, J.P. Morgan. Cornelius Vanderbilt. And when I tell you that the men that built America mentions all of these guys, they mention every last one of them up to this point. Jay Gould and James Fisk. Russell Sage. These are 6 of them. These are 6 of them. And I just typed it in the chat. I mean, not in the chat, I just typed it online. All right. Now, this is what they call Legends of America, traveling through American history. So this is the bank robbers and thieves. Bank robbery is a federal crime in the United States, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation defines the act of robbery as taking or attempting to take property through the use of or the implied use of force. Bank robbers became part of American folklore in many cases, among them being the James brothers, Butch Cassidy, the younger brothers, John Dillinger, Bonnie and Clyde, the Barker Karpus gang. George Dutch Anderson, a Danish criminal, Anderson, along with Gerald Chapman, co-led a Prohibition-era gang from the 1910s, 20s. He and his associates successfully robbed a U.S. mail truck of $2.4 million in cash, bonds, and jewelry. He was finally captured and sentenced to 25 years in prison, but later escaped. He was killed in a police shootout on October 31st, 1925. Now, did they ever recover this $2.4 million in cash? And why would somebody like George, why would somebody like this? Here's the common sense question. If you already hit him for $2.4 million, why are you still doing it? Why ain't you get low? Unless. So, John William Anglin and Alfred Clarence Anglin, Georgia bank robbers, arrested in 1956 and ultimately sent to Alcatraz. They escaped in June 1962 and never were seen again. So you got all these people, right? So they're talking about these people. All right. So you look at all these people. See what I'm saying? So you look at these people right here. All of these people ended up going to prison. They was just robbing banks, huh? Millions of dollars and just kept robbing banks. Right. And you see all the dates. 1884, 1899, 1913. All this is during a time of and before the New Deal. You see? Look at all these people. 1800s, 1800s, 1800s. See what I'm saying? What was the purpose? What was the purpose? You see? But yeah, just wanted to get that thing started so you guys can get a clear idea of the connections of everything. And now we're talking about today, you know, Scott Besson, who is the Treasury Secretary and the Internal Revenue Service Commissioner, you know, talking about these things, what happened and what the change was, you see. But yeah, like I said, it's Monday. A little Monday quarterbacking. So hopefully this helped out a little bit. That's all we doing here is bring a little information just and to provide some things that you can bring in your everyday life. You see what I'm saying? Everyday life. And what we want to make sure that we do is make sure that we keep everything in its proper perspective. Keep everything in its proper perspective and be able to apply it to our everyday life. This is not something just to talk about and just let it just float over your head. You know what I mean? So let me make this comment. So it says that Derek Cobb says that he said, but it's not out of thin air. It is out of thin air. What they create on their end is out of thin air. And out of thin air is them saying that it's this. That's all out of thin air. There's nothing to substantiate what they're saying. That's what out of thin air means. Doesn't mean anything else but that. But what he did say was that the securities were transferred, that signature and everything, that deposit, what they would consider to be a deposit is nothing but a selling. They take it as a selling of a security over to them, and they're buying it. And they take that security based on it being endorsed in blank, and this is what I'm added to it, and they go ahead and hypothecate on it. They buy that security. But they are creating it out of thin air. Those numbers are being created out of thin air. Because under negotiable instruments law, and you're dealing with fiat, there is no number. It's nothing but a piece of paper. You're making that up. It's not this behind me. See that behind me? See that gold? Yeah, the 0.9999. Ain't no making that up. That is what it is. This over here is a note to represent a fraction of this 999. All right. So what we're going to do is we are going to get all this stuff together. Get the music up. But we're going to come back to this. We're going to come back into all this. All this plays an important role, and appreciate the sister coming up and doing what she was doing. You know, what she was doing and what she showed, which is tough. I mean, that was some tough talk right there she was doing. It was fast, but she said some very important things. And we really need to give a shout out to this sister for what she's doing, and everybody else that provides information that they send me. Yeah. But outside of that, yeah, man, we're about to put this music up. We are about to put this music up. And as we say, when the music is over, it's over. It's Monday. We take a cruise control on this thing, you know. We don't need to be too amplified. We take our time with this. But we're gonna run a couple of these videos back tomorrow, and I'm gonna go deep dive on this. Because we really need to understand how the system works and how can we utilize the system to benefit us, not to get over on anything. It's not to get over. It's to apply it properly so it doesn't encumber or trespass upon us. Control. To get full control. And make sure that these entities, these agencies, and these departments, these subcontractors that are here to provide a service stay in a position that they are in and not be given an opportunity to change positions and get in that position of power and put you into a peonage or a peon status and get control of your estate. Got it? Hopefully. Good. On the next one. When the song is over, it's over. On the next one.
We want freedom by any means necessary. We want justice by any means necessary. We want equality by any means necessary. We don't feel that in 1964, living in a country that is supposedly based upon freedom and supposedly the leader of the free world, we don't think that we should have to sit around and wait for
Let's go. All of your assets, you have to protect it. Just set your trust up, come get your status corrected. Yeah, you know we moving more than mountains. Fuck your school, fuck your voting system, fuck your water fountains. Melanin, I know you heard of me. You can never murder me. I want that gold you owe me now and gold from 1933. I want y'all to stand on all the treaties that you sold to me. Cause we was already here, y'all came on a boat to me. And know this God-given land we all hold in fee. Simple, absolute gratitude, your majesty. I am not in my straw man, you not controlling me. Certified, signed, sealed, stamped by the notary. Don't try to lie to my face like you ain't just a colonist who tricked us with contracts, but you fail to acknowledge it. In history books of fertilizer, one big pile of shit. Acting like you freed us from slavery, but ain't abolished it. The plantation just got renovated. Driver's license and passports are the new slave papers. How they foreclosing on the ones they gave acres. We allowed them entry, even trusted them as neighbors. They took everything from us and made us ask for favors, and posed as the only helping hand that's there to save us. Boycott, don't try to keep up with the fad, cause the money that we save, the properties that we rehab. Monopoly with the bad. Tears don't fall from my eyes, cause they see our what, but they don't see our why. You was born in June, but I only seen July. Influenced by bad spirits like a DUI. You ain't do no estate planning, but you think you fly. Now we gon' need 3 fish fries to see you die. We the revolt, boy, don't play with me. The time is now, this royalty over slavery. Damn.
Don't move it. Don't move it. Don't move it. Yeah. Don't move it. Don't move it. Don't move it.
I'm the coach, quotes coded in oak with a ghost loaded focus. Chrome in the coat, king with the cloak, smoking that hocus pocus. Infinite styles, pivot and pile up the mileage. I'm wild with the science. You see the line on my avatar, iron jaw pride. I to devour the silence. Why you niggas steady lying? Got me laughing hard, satire and fraud. I fire the squad. Wise get crossed when I'm sparring with all the guards. Author of art, carving a mark in the bulk of the market at large. Target the sharks, heart of a Spartan. I sharpen the margin with bars. You rather bargain and dodge. I'd rather you come get your taxes done. Black suit back, room facts in a stack. I'm relaxing the maximum. Get out of the pocket, the profit of rocket. Then I just might tax you punks. Racket your funds, I'm stacking in chunks. Reacting to ashes, you're begging to punch. Sometimes my community hard-headed, scarred, dreading the lessons. I chart head and start spreading the message, embedded in pressure. Sovereign living, I'm private with it. No corporate percentage. Discharging debt with a pen stroke. You still don't notice the vision. I've been telling y'all you don't want to debate me. Weighty and ready. Great with machetes, linguistically shredding the petty. Grab these 15 acres. Landscape major, plan made paper. Land patent stamped and sacred since my campaign greater. I ain't talking about Ice-T when I say that I can show you law and order. Court recorder, I sort the torture, contort the border. I eat the case, beat the state, leave a trace of the raw supporter. Briefcase aura, got your baby mama thinking that I'm a lawyer. Seminole Indian sentiment, militant on sovereign soil. Private enrollment, tribal component. I'm the boss, so you trying to employ it.